Welcome to Kuala Lumpur. Malaysia Airlines over the past few years has gone through a bit of a resurgence, with the brand new A330neo leading the charge in their transformation. It was time to experience what the A330neo and the A350 means for those in this region travelling in business class.
Now, it's important to frame this video as Malaysia Airlines has grand ambitions to be one of the leading airlines in the world in the next 5 years. That's a pretty lofty goal, but I was curious to see if I could see the A330neo help it on its way. My adventure started at ridiculous o'clock in Kuala Lumpur International Airport, and after almost crashing thanks to a rather sleepy taxi driver, I was happy to check in and relax in the lounge. While the airline has a dedicated check-in zone for its suites and a semi-private area for business class, there's nothing really to write home about. I was, however, pleasantly surprised to see that fast-track immigration and security was included. However, as we were departing from the satellite terminal, we had to transfer, and sadly at this time of day, it meant hopping on a bus rather than using the transit train. 10 minutes later, we were strolling into the Golden Lounge, the airline's flagship lounge on the upper level of the concourse. On first impressions, it's great. Lots of design details, a separate bar, and a large sprawling lounge that's definitely geared towards food and drink. To the left as you enter, there's a more relaxed seating area with lots of larger comfortable armchairs. And to the back of the lounge, there's a quiet area as well as toilets and showers. Now, first impressions aside, the lounge is starting to show its age and could do with a little bit of a spruce up. The star of the show here, however, is the food, with a range of Malaysian specialities and dishes, many created at live cooking stations. There's even a barista station. With a satisfying sugar rush, coffee and a glass of champagne, it was time to head to the gate, where our A330neo was waiting for us. Boarding was strictly by zone, and good news, there's a separated air bridge for business class. So the cabin is impressive, fantastic mood lighting, beautiful colours, and the whole thing feels incredibly modern.
Welcome aboard. It's quite a comfy seat. Quite like it actually. Quite spacious. Lots of storage. It's at light years ahead of the A350 as well. This could be a game changer for Malaysia Airlines. Time to get some service.
Welcome drinks include a fantastic hibiscus and lychee drink, fresh juices and water.
Cheers. Oh, that's fresh. Yum.
Now let's take a look at the seat. There's plenty of lovely details and textures here. There's also a range of personal lighting, yet sadly no personal air vents. When it comes to storage, you've got enough to keep your smaller items, but sadly no lockable larger compartments for amenity kits, for example. When it comes to power, there is USB-C, which is great to see, along with standard power points and wireless charging. Seat controls are pretty easy to use as well, and there's a range of bedding, including mattress topper, thick blanket, and oversized pillow. I just wish the colours all matched a little bit better. When turned into a bed, there's plenty of space, and seat comfort is great. Yes, there's a door too, if that's your thing. The onboard welcome continued with champagne, and what a way to start a 10-hour flight. As for the IFE, it's a great, easy-to-use interface, and there was a surprising amount of movies and TV shows. There's also an award-winning in-flight magazine and free Wi-Fi if you want to use it. We pushed back on time, and that gave me a chance to take a first look at the flight.
First impressions is this is what I would expect a decent international carrier to be like in 2026. The things I really like are actually the design details. So they've got this beautiful batik wall covering, and because it's an actual fabric, it's actually noise cancelling as well. So it actually dulls some of the sound of the flight. Then obviously we've got wireless charging. Love it or hate it. The reason I say that is because it's always a little bit temperamental, a little bit of turbulence, and it can shift your phone a little bit, and next thing you know you haven't charged it throughout the flight. So my top tip is, whilst it's nice to have, bring a charger. We've obviously got our little hand controller as well, which is nifty. I mean, you'd have to have really short arms if you couldn't reach the seat control. Ooh, thank you very much. That's a nice interlude. Nice, refreshing cold towel. Oh, it actually smells quite nice as well. And when it's been 36 degrees for the past couple of days, and you climb to the Batu Caves steps yesterday, highly recommend, you're going to need a cold towel. I wish I had one of these yesterday. People are going to hate for the fact that I do that, but I don't care. I used to roll around in mud as a kid. I'm quite surprised. I was not expecting to see how a hard product would completely shift the mindset of Malaysia Airlines. Obviously on the A350, it's a 10-year-old product, and it's not the most competitive, but the crew were great. Now we've got great crew and a great product, and it completely changes the landscape. Well, let's see in 10 hours time if I still feel the same way.
Safety checks complete, we headed off on our adventure to New Zealand. Shortly after takeoff, I settled in and amenity kits were handed out. Time to take a look at the contents.
Eye mask, pair of socks, quite long socks. It's a fashion statement. Face mist, lip balm, hydrating. Could you imagine if it wasn't hydrating? A perfumed pulse point rollerball. Oh, thank you very much. Slippers, the pyjama set. So that's obviously on overnight flights. But nourishing body cream with rice extract. Don't know what the rice does. Then we have a dental kit as well. So all in all, for a day flight, pretty decent.
Then the purser came around to introduce himself and deliver the menus. Now, this is a long-haul flight, and the menu was just good enough, although I wish there was a tiny bit more variety. That said, Malaysia Airlines, like its pseudo-stepsister Singapore Airlines, prides itself on its satay service. I couldn't wait to try that later in the flight. The wines were also great, with a René Toutat champagne, which is on the mid-range end, retailing circa $40 or £30. So, as I was served a post-takeoff drink, I popped to the toilets to freshen up, which were clean but basically stocked, and through the flight, sometimes shared with economy passengers. Service began with a breakfast, which came on a tray with fresh fruits, a granola-topped yogurt, and a side of freshly warmed pastries. If Malaysia invested in its plateware to elevate them a little further, a little bit like Garuda Indonesia, it would make all the difference. Then came the star of the flight, the famous nasi lemak.
It smells amazing too. Delicious. This hands down beats many Western carriers. As much as I love a pie or a Sunday roast or if you're flying with British Airways, like a chicken korma or a chicken tikka. This is gorgeous. I'm just going to continue eating.
Afterwards, we settled into the flight, and it was clear the crew didn't want me to go hungry. The snacks are part of their onboard pantry, situated at the front of the galley, with a range of sweet and salty munchies to keep you going. Now we were comfortably in the cruise, I settled in. I relaxed with a G&T and got some work done. About 3 hours later, the crew really wanted to show off their range of mid-flight snacks, which included classic egg noodles and a rather interesting pisang goreng, which was both savoury and sweet, blending deep-fried bananas with cheddar cheese. Food coma settling in, I thought I'd grab a couple of hours shut-eye before being woken for the last service, 2.5 hours before landing. I've got to say, I love the mood lighting in this aircraft. What was nice is that the last service was served in this more relaxed mood lighting rather than raising the lights. And of course, it started with the signature satay service, including a new mushroom satay for vegetarians, all of it super tasty. And this was followed by the smoked salmon salad, which, well, it wasn't the best. But that's nothing garlic bread can't fix, though. This was followed by the Malaysian nasi dagang and a chocolate brownie to finish, all washed down with a piping hot jasmine tea. As I sipped and contemplated, I started to look around the cabin once more, and it made me think of what I said right at the start of the flight.
Well, Let's see in 10 hours' time if I still feel the same way.
And well, I did. In fact, I was even more impressed. The cabin, the mood lighting, design details, the new seat with its privacy, space and storage. It felt like a modern airline. But one thing hadn't changed. The service was hard to fault, their heartfelt warmth and hospitality. These people loved their job and it showed. Sure, the ground product could do with a little bit of an update and the amenities are okay. But there's still some way to go if Malaysian wants to be a top 10 airline in about 5 years. Lastly, the food on board.
Delicious.
With a bit more TLC, could be a real standout. As always, thanks for watching and do get involved in the comments below.